Miss Lee Russell, and this morning we're going to be talking about Business Math B, inventories. Okay, this is one of those areas I get phone calls on, FIFO and LIFO. Every business that exists out there needs some sort of inventory method where they keep track of their supplies and their products. The inventory has to be counted. It's for record keeping, just to keep track of what assets they have, and then it's also used for forecasting and for tax purposes. The definition of inventory is the detailed, itemized list, report, or record of things in one's possession. And this applies for any type of business, school, offices, computer places, bakeries, grocery stores. Every single business keeps track of its inventory. One thing too to keep in mind now with all the computer technology that we have, some stores can keep track of their inventory a little bit better with what's called perpetual inventory count. And as the computers scan things and they go out the door, the computer automatically updates the current inventory. So the inventory is kept track of on a regular basis. Most businesses will do inventory at the end of the year for tax purposes. A lot of times when businesses are closed on that January 1st time frame, 31st, that's what they're doing. They're doing an inventory of what they have so that they're prepared for their end of year taxes. Okay, in your project 1 on page 2, there are some, page 4, it's at the very end. There are some examples of inventory methods. And one of the first ones is called average cost method. Basically with this, you're going to find the average cost of all the items. You're going to add all the totals up together. And then you're going to divide by the number of units that went out the door. So then whatever you have left in the store, whatever inventory you have on hand, you're going to multiply that by that average cost you just found. Okay? In our example, there was $965, $633, and $1,435. Those were the amounts of the total cost of inventory at different periods in the month. And then there were 310 items sold for these. And we had 80 left, number on hand. So when you add those total costs together, you get 3,034. And you divide by 310. So once you multiply, the average cost of each of those items was $9.79. You're going to multiply that by the 80 that are on hand at the end of the month, and that gives you the approximate average of what you have as far as inventory. You have 783. Okay, there's another method called FIFO. FIFO stands, it's first in, first out. And when you say those words, even though you know it matches with the FIFO, it's still like, what? What does this mean? So you can kind of visualize someone that's stocking the shelves at the grocery store or at a Walgreens. The first ones that they've put on the shelf they're going to keep them to the front. First ones in are the first ones out. So as they get new inventory in, they put it to the back, okay, so that the oldest items come out first. So first in, first out. So you can kind of visualize that's what it means, okay? What it means number-wise is once you've got your end of inventory, you're actually going to take the newest cost, because those first ones are sold. They've gone out the door. So you're going to take your newest price or cost and multiply that by the ending inventory. So in our project, FIFO means the earliest dates are sold first. So we've got 80 left, and 230 have been sold. With the FIFO, those 230 came from those first few dates. Okay? So the 80 that are left are going to come out of the last date on the project from the 519 group. So you're going to multiply the 80 by the unit cost of the 519 group. And that would be 80 times $9.90. And it gives you 792. So usually the disconnect again is we see the word FIFO. It's not a word we use in our conversation. So right away our brain goes, huh? What is that? So you know what that is. It's inventory. And then you say, oh, well, what kind of inventory? I don't know what to do. Remember, you've got the visualization of they're putting first in, first out. So they're putting the old ones in the back. Okay, so the earliest dates, the oldest ones are going out first. So when you say FIFO, you're going to use the latest date, the last date, the cost of the unit for the last date. Okay, so those are the only two steps now. So now when you see this, you won't have that kind of an emotional block to, oh no, I don't know how to do these. Okay, and we have one more inventory to go over, and that is the LIFO. And LIFO is last in, first out. It's the exact opposite of FIFO. Okay, so now you're visualizing, you're like, okay, LIFO's inventory, I know that now. Okay, and I'm going to visualize last in, first out. So when the stocker's putting it on the shelf, he's setting them on there, he's putting the new ones to the front. He's just shoving everything to the back, putting the new ones on the front. So the last and first out. So now you know what is happening with that. And now you also know you're going to use the earliest date to multiply by. Okay? So same thing in our project. We've got 80 left over, 230 were sold. That means the 230 were sold from the last dates. Okay? So the 80 that are left are going to be from the earliest date. So we're going to look at the unit cost of the 5-1 group. Okay? So we're going to take 80 times the 5-1 unit cost, which is $9.65, and you just multiply. So these examples are perfect examples of what business math is about. Typically, math is a lot of numbers in sequential steps 1, 2, 3, 4. And you kind of do them repetitively over and over again. Business math is more logical and verbal. So you could see at this math problem, see all the logic in the problem, the whole first section of the overhead here, see all the words? Kind of have to sort through logically. And the math itself isn't that difficult. You're just multiplying. Can you think of why a business would choose one of these methods over another? Different businesses make different decisions for different reasons. Yeah, depending on the inventory cost and how it's received, if that changes. Usually businesses change their inventory methods depending on taxes. Some businesses like to pay taxes in a different form, either up front. So whichever one costs, saves them the most money, different time frames, or works best for them tax-wise is what they're going to use. Interestingly, in Europe, they have a lot more business regulations than we do here. They actually regulate and tell businesses which inventory method they can use in Europe. We have a choice here, but in Europe, it's a lot of times regulated. So they're not allowed to use any of these three. Okay. I found several video clips. It's not on supply chain. This is actually on inventory, so I did change the slide. These are great clips. They're usually 3 to 5 minutes. They just give you another idea of what this is about. So feel free to watch these. This presentation will be put up in the link later today in your announcements, and you can pull this up. If you are watching this presentation live right now, I will do a poll at the end of class, and that will count as your participation in class. If you are watching this presentation as a recorded link, you will need to complete the 5 questions and forward those to me to my email account listed. Don't forget, you need to have 2 participations per week. One of the 2 needs to be instructional. They both can be if you want, but one for sure needs to be instructional. And the other remaining part of the Adobe session is question and answer, and then I also have a session at 2 o'clock. So I welcome you to jump into class, ask any questions, possibly give feedback on problems that we are working on in the class. But I look forward to seeing you in Adobe session again soon. I hope you have a great day, and hope you've enjoyed this session on Business Math B, Inventory Methods. What is LIFO and FIFO? Have a great day.